Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel again. I'm Edelyn. To those who don't know me yet, I have a diagnosis of metastatic breast cancer, stage 4 terminal. Um, I am on chemo meds and just want to talk to you guys and let you know that I'm also an amputee from both right and left leg. I am in a wheelchair. Um, and just to tell you guys a little bit about my story, my first leg got amputated in 2010, and my other leg, which my last one was amputated, was my left leg amputated. The first one was the right one, and the left one was amputated in 2016. Um, my life was devastated. Um, I didn't know what to do with myself. Um, I isolated myself. I didn't want to go out, associate with anyone. Um, I was just afraid of how things was going to go out there in the world. Um, some people are polite about the situation, and some are not. They just stare you down, make you feel uncomfortable. Um, Life was really hard for me. I had to learn how to work around and figure out what was the best way to do things with myself, with the house, with the kids, everything. I was an independent woman. I don't like to depend on anyone. I like to do things my own way, the way I like it. And life was just hard. And everything was so horrible, terrible. I, but I found it within me and I found the strength and I said, this is not how I want to live my life. I was not going to be miserable. I didn't want to, I refused to be miserable. Um, I wanted to be happy again and I figured it out and God was with me. He held me by the hand and told me and showed me that that was not the end of life, that I was going to be okay. And surely I found a way to do everything, and life became much easier. I became more happier. I was not that depressed and sad anymore. You know, it took me a while. It took me like a good year to realize it, but my disability does not stop me. I strive. I'm still striving, um, doing what I love to do. Nothing stops me. I do wear prosthetic legs. Um, it took me a while to want to try on prosthetic legs to be more independent because when I had my first amputation on my right leg, I went through a lot of infections and debridement, and I had skin graft and plastic surgery, and it was very hard. You know, I was afraid of putting on prosthetic legs again and running a chance of getting an infection and having to get operated, and I refused to. You know, I didn't want to take the chance, but I did. and it was the greatest feeling to put on these prosthetic legs and be able to stand and walk. It was the greatest feeling ever. Um, Last year in October, I was hospitalized, and they found, they did CAT scan. I have acid reflux, and I was throwing up blood, and my partner had to call the ambulance, and I was hospitalized. They took me in. They did CAT scan. Uh, they did CAT scan, and they found a mass in my right breast. A mass is a tumor. And I got discharged a couple of days after. I'm not quite sure. I don't remember how many days I was hospitalized, but when they gave me the discharge papers, they told me, I'm gonna do my makeup while I talk to you guys. They told me that I had to follow up with my primary care doctor. So I did. I was discharged on the weekend. I believe it was a Saturday. And my discharge paper, my instructions were that I had to follow up with my primary care doctor. And I did. I called that Monday of the next following week. I called, and I made an appointment with my primary care doctor, and when my appointment came up, they gave me an appointment, I think within days, to go in and see my doctor. I didn't see my actual doctor. I saw the nurse practitioner that works for my doctor, because my doctor didn't have appointments for so soon. So when I went in to see her, she checked me. She checked my breasts. She saw my breasts. The surrounding of my nipple was stiff and hard. I had spots on my nipple and around surrounding my nipple, and she sent me to get a emergency mammogram. So they gave me an appointment for November. In November, I believe it was November 16 of last year. They gave me an appointment. I went in. I changed into my gowns like you normally do, and they took me in, and they did mammogram. And then after mammogram, they were doing an ultrasound. So the tech tells me, well, I'm gonna get the doctor to come check your ultrasound pictures. And the doctor came in and took a look. He goes and tells me, well, I'm gonna order you for a biopsy, because the tumor that you have on your breast is very big, and you also have some lymph nodes on your right arm that are very big, and I'm very concerned. It's very concerning. So the minute that the doctor tells me is concerning, I'm worried, you know. I get dressed. I get dressed, I go on home with my partner, and my whole life just, I was devastated, you know, just being afraid that when they do biopsy, it comes out positive. I have breast cancer. I have cancer. What am I gonna do with my life? I have my kids. Um, I was just, it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. I didn't want to believe it. You know, I refused to. I love myself. I love life. I love my kids, my grandkids. I don't want to die. I didn't want to die. I refused to. I said I was going to fight it since the very beginning. So, um, they did. Luckily, when I was leaving, I walked out. Someone had canceled for biopsy, and they had one for that same week on that Friday. So everything was just done like fast, within the blink of an eye. And I got my biopsy done. In my right breast, they put a titanium clip. And I also had biopsy on under my underarm for the lymph nodes, and on my right arm. They send it to the labs. When I go to see the surgeon again, she tells me that, I'm so sorry, your test came back positive. You have cancer, breast cancer. It was the worst day ever. Um, that day, my mom went with me to that appointment because they gave me the results the week after. The week after Thanksgiving of last year. And I had went to spend Thanksgiving with my siblings and my mom. So when I left that weekend back home, my mom had came with me home because she wanted to be there for me when they gave me the results. So she stood with me that whole week. Then they order all these testings, MRI, more CAT scan. They did a PET scan. Then when I go meet my oncology doctor, which I love her to death. She's so good. I trust her from the very beginning. I knew that everything was going to be okay because something in my heart told me she knows what she was doing. So I met my oncology doctor, and she tells me that in my scans, one of my scans that they did, MRI or CAT scan, I'm not quite sure, they found a tumor on my chest in my lungs. And she told me, I have to tell you that if the PET scan I'm gonna order come back positive that you have a tumor on your in your lungs and your chest, it's gonna be terminal. So that was another bad news. I was devastated. I was devastated. I'm like, so, at this point, I'm crying. Very depressed. Because I'm like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die because, what's gonna happen to me. It's just, I don't even know how to explain the feeling, for you to get told that you have terminal cancer. You immediately think you're gonna die. There's no chance of you surviving. But to all this, she's telling me, well, to think positive, to wait till the results come back and stuff. So, you know, it's easy for someone to tell you to take it easy, but they have to be in your own shoes to understand what's the feeling to be told that you have cancer, and especially that it's terminal. Stage 4, you know. So the results came back, and they came back positive. I had to have a biopsy to my lungs. That was done in January of this year, and it came back positive. So I had cancer in my lungs as well. So it was one thing back to back, back to back. So she tells me after I had the biopsy to the lungs, and she tells me it was positive, it was terminal. They didn't have no cure. It was treatable, but it was not curable. So she's like, I go to see her to get the results, and she tells me, listen, Edelyn, I have had patients that have been on medication, being treated on medication, on chemo meds, and still living. They live 20 years and plus, 10 to 20 years and plus. So I'm like, okay, you know, something inside of me told me to trust her, that she knew what she was doing. So she prescribed this medication that I'm taking, my chemo regimen meds, which is called Ibrance. I've been taking Ibrance since January of this year. It's gonna be 11 months that I'm on it. After all those bad news that I received last year, and this year in January was when I got the news of the lung cancer and the tumor that I had in my chest. Um, she said, I'm gonna throw you on early menopause, so I don't get my period anymore. I'm on my menopause. through an injection which is called Lupron injection. Um, I've been on my chemo meds right now. Today, October 28, 2019, I am on my chemo weeks. I'm on my chemo pills. 3 weeks on and 1 week off. I just got the greatest news that my tumor on my chest, my lungs, and on my right arm underpits that are gone. They're not there anymore. By the glory of God, they're not there anymore. Amen to that. I do not know how to describe the happiness, how joyful, how thankful and grateful I am right now, because when all this started, this nightmare started, I always knew I was going to be a survivor, that I was going to share my story with the world, that when I started treatment, even my doctor and family and friends were going to be surprised of my outcome, because I was going to survive, because I was going to be cured. Even though I was diagnosed with a terminal, not curable disease. It was treatable but not curable. Ever since my diagnosis of breast cancer, makeup became a passion. I had to distract my mind. I always loved makeup, but it became more of a passion when I got diagnosed with breast cancer. And it makes me happy. It fulfills me. Um, Makeup is everything to me, you know. When I'm doing makeup and I feel beautiful, even though I know I'm still beautiful. My heart is beautiful. I'm beautiful inside and out, with makeup or without makeup. But this takes everything away. Cancer doesn't exist to me. No negative stuff exists. It's just, I'm in paradise, you know, almost, let's say. It's just, life became, and my faith in God, of me being saved and cured, is just, I don't even know how to explain it, honestly. But I just know that I'm going to be a survivor. I'm going to continue to tell my story, with makeup or without makeup. I want to tell the world and other women that are out there going through what I'm going through, that have the similar diagnosis of metastatic breast cancer, that that's not the end of the world. You have to believe. You have to find the strength within you. You have to be positive. Have hope. You can never lose hope, and you're not alone. You're never alone. There's always someone there going through the similar thing you're going through, that'll be willing to listen to you, to understand you, to hear you when you're feeling alone. You're never alone. I learned that. At the beginning, I thought, well, who can I talk to? I know I have my siblings. I know I have my mom, my wife, my kids. But it's always good to talk to someone that's going through the same thing you're going through. Because believe it or not, that person understands you very, very much. It's just, I attend to a breast cancer support group from the oncology clinic, cancer clinic that I go to, and it's once a month, but I love it. I meet with my cancer sisters, and it is so, so good to see them. We share our stories, how we're feeling, what we're going through, any new diagnosis, scans. My wife goes with me and attends with me, and it's very good. She's my caregiver as well. And it's just, I want to sit here and do my makeup and talk to you guys and share my story with you guys, so the world can know that, I'm an amputee from left and right leg. I have metastatic breast cancer, but nothing stops me. I love myself. I love life. I'm a warrior. I'm going to continue to keep striving. I'm a strong woman. Nothing stops me. And I'm still living. God gives me the privilege to wake me up to a brand new day. And He will continue to be waking me up to a brand new day, because He knows that there's a purpose of me being here. And I love life. I love my kids. And I'm going to continue to empower myself. Keep doing makeup. Who knows if by doing makeup and someone sees my story, I become a real makeup artist. That's my dream. To become known. To be able to continue to share my story. Okay, guys. Thank you for watching and listening to me. It was really nice talking to you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, share, and I will catch you guys on my next video. Maybe on my next video, I will be showing you guys how I put on my prosthetic legs, how I walk with them, and continue to share my story, my lifestyle, and what do I do on my regular day to day. So I love you guys. Thank you for watching and listening, and I'll see you guys on my next video.